Why the more you learn, the poorer you become. Welcome to the path to prosperity. Not long ago, my company partnered with another firm on a new project. That's how I met a guy who was also involved. He's been working for a few years since graduating and asked me, how do I escape this endless cycle of working for others? He told me that back in school, he was always top of his class. But after graduating, life hit hard. His salary just barely covers living expenses. Owning a home or a car, a far-off dream. He feels stuck. After breaking up with his college girlfriend, he's been single ever since. Recently, he went to a class reunion and was shocked. The bad students from school were now successful business owners. They had started companies, invested, and built wealth. They bragged about their success. He sat quietly, too embarrassed to talk, afraid they'd ask about his life. It's clear, he was once a star student. So why is life so difficult now? His story reminded me of my younger self. So I recommended 2 books that changed my life, Rich Dad, Poor Dad and The Analects. I told him, if you truly understand these 2 books, you'll be able to buy a house and a car too. But he replied, what's the point? I already read The Analects back in school. He said he was familiar with it and asked for something else. I just smiled and walked away. It wasn't because I didn't want to help. I just knew he wouldn't believe me. He's smart, at least by society's standards. And that's the problem. His intelligence helped him fit into the education system, to become a test-taking machine. But that also turned him into a fool. Don't get me wrong, I'm not insulting him. He probably has a high IQ, but the system trained him to only be good at passing exams. His way of learning and his attitude toward learning are completely off track. And the scary part is, he doesn't even realize it. There are many people like him. That's why so many people read tons of books but still stay poor. Is it the book's fault? Are people hiding the real secrets? If that were true, why did some of us succeed? It's not about intelligence. It's about the way you learn. You've been learning the wrong way. Today, I want to share something serious. I want to help you get back on the right learning path. How should we learn? How do we learn to make money? How do we learn to start a business or invest? If you understand what I'm about to say, everything you learn will finally start working for you, not just stay as theory. Please watch this video with an open mind. Don't assume you already know it all. In this vast universe, you and I are still very small. Before we begin, I want to say this. If you want vision, if you don't want to be just another pawn on the board, if you want to rise above, then follow this channel. I promise to share valuable insights in the future. And if you're worried you might forget to take action after watching, just click like. That way, this video will be saved in your playlist, so you can come back to it anytime. Alright, let's dive in. First, we must understand why we even need to learn. Then, I'll show you how to use knowledge to bring real value into your life. The Analects begins with a line. To learn and practice what you've learned, isn't that a joy? When I was a kid, I never understood that. What joy could there be in learning? To me, studying was pure pain. My biggest joy back then was gaming. The internet was just starting to boom, and every day after school, all I wanted was to rush home and install new games. Even if I couldn't sleep, I'd stay up just to play. Learning brought no joy, only gaming did. Later on, I became like that guy I mentioned, proud but lost. I didn't like studying, yet somehow I still got into college. But once I was there, I realized I had no idea what to do with my life. Others had rich parents, loving partners, and bright futures. I had nothing. But here's the difference between him and me. I was willing to learn humbly. That's the only way to escape poverty. I trusted what those better than me had to say. Because I understood, success isn't luck. Those who built empires from scratch followed rules. They had systems. So when I found out many successful people loved the Analects, I gave it another try, even though I once hated it. But this time, I read with an open mind like an empty cup. And then something clicked. I felt myself growing. I started building real confidence, the kind that comes from within. That kind of confidence is called character. My mindset became calmer, more patient, more focused. And I found within me a burning desire to rise, and a belief that I could. The very first word in the Analects is learn. Why that word? Why not something else? Years later, I finally understood. When you know nothing, the first thing you must do is learn. Whether you want to start a business, lead a team, become a better person, or even find love, it all begins with learning. Let's say a company is hiring a manager. If you've never studied management, of course you won't get the job. Learning is everywhere. If you don't understand economics, you won't know when the stock market will rise or fall. If you don't understand people, you won't realize that sometimes flattery is necessary when you're not in a strong position. Pleasing others isn't shameful, it's a skill. History shows, people who never learn to flatter often meet bitter ends. If you have nothing, but want to rise, want a raise, want a promotion, you need to learn how to please your boss. If you're cold and don't know how to make higher-ups feel comfortable, you have no future. If you refuse to learn and even laugh at those who do, people who live better than you, you're only holding yourself back. There are 2 ways to learn. Learn to grow and thrive. Learn the wrong way and grow foolish. For example, during holidays, some people copy-paste greetings to everyone in their contact list, even strangers. That's blind learning. It wastes everyone's time. And yet, when it comes to learning something actually useful, like how to get promoted, they refuse, calling it kissing up. And so they stay stuck in low-paying jobs. At home, you might need to learn how to make your wife happy. But instead you say, a real man must act dominant. That leads to arguments and an unhappy family. Again, this is wrong learning. So what does to learn and practice really mean? It means, only after learning can we gain results, good or bad, depending on how we learn. If you don't learn, you get nothing. Only through learning do you have a chance to rise. If not, you stay ordinary, or worse. To learn regularly means you need consistency. Not just one day, and then stop the next. Many people work hard in school, but as soon as they graduate, they stop learning altogether. Some even burn their textbooks to forget the stress of exams. They never understood the true point of learning. It's not just about understanding ideas, it's about building useful skills. For example, you don't need to watch my YouTube videos every day. What matters is that you learn the method, apply it, and make money. Only then will you feel the joy of learning. If learning only means listening to lectures and understanding theories, but you can't use them in life, then what's the point? If you don't get this, you'll become someone who reads a lot, knows a lot, but still lives an average life. In short, you still can't make money. Real learning starts with copying. Copy who? Copy the masters. You need to find the best examples in history and today, and learn from them. That's the secret to changing your life. Some people only learn how to be workers, so they stay workers forever. Others learn from the masters, and live a life of abundance. For example, one of my relatives learned how to operate a bulldozer. Now he works on a construction site. That path doesn't lead to wealth. A friend of mine has a son who grew up in a wealthy family. He studied abroad in the UK. When he returned, his father arranged a position for him as an assistant to the top CEO in one of their companies. His job? Just observe, learn, and understand how a business is run. 3 years later, he became the CEO himself. Meanwhile, many of us are still struggling just to make $1,200 a month. Some people might say, I don't have that kind of privilege. I never got a chance to learn how to become a CEO. What can I do? Everyone starts from a different place. But no matter where you are, you can still find a skill that fits your abilities and vision, and start learning it. For me, the most valuable investment I ever made was buying books. With just a little money, you can access the life lessons and wisdom of some of the world's greatest minds. All you need to do is follow their steps. That's the secret of business success. Once you understand this, your life can begin to change. But many people still find reading boring. Why? Because deep down, they've been programmed to think it is. That's why one of the fastest, most modern ways to learn is not reading, but listening. You can join book clubs focused on financial freedom. Each week, skilled hosts summarize powerful books and share their insights. This way, you don't just learn the author's thinking, you also gain financial advice on topics like starting a business, making money, and investing. I can tell you, even if you read a book on your own, it doesn't mean you'll truly understand it. Some knowledge requires experience and reflection to grasp fully. And no school teaches that. I don't know what your dream is. But believe me, many people have completely changed their lives just from reading 1 or 2 books. They've bought their first home, started businesses, created endless cash flow through investing, or even found their soulmate. When you learn properly and apply it, your destiny changes. That's the magic of learning from the wise. True learning doesn't mean arguing or trying to be right. People who lack wisdom argue to win. But truly smart people quietly practice what they've learned, and that's how they succeed. This is the mindset of entrepreneurs: make money quietly. Smart people understand this simple truth. Learning from those who are better than you always helps. On the other hand, people who lack skills often reject advice instinctively. Truly smart people won't waste time arguing with them. They simply think, let them be. All learning starts with imitation. If you want to be rich, you have to follow the habits of rich people. If you keep copying the poor, you'll stay poor. People who hate the rich, both online and in real life, are often not very wise, because you can't learn from someone you despise. If that's your mindset, it's time to change. It might just change your life. Learning is about doing, not just listening. When a mentor tells you to take action, just do it, even if you don't fully understand yet. With time, you'll improve. And one day, you'll smile with satisfaction. That feeling is priceless. It comes from within and doesn't need to be shared with anyone else. That's the true joy of learning to improve your life. Of course, sometimes learning is hard. You might feel lost or blame your teacher. But that's a big mistake. When you hit a wall, look within. Ask yourself, did I miss something important? Am I relying too much on others? For example, if you start a business and expect results in 5 days, that's unrealistic. Most ventures take 3 to 6 months just to see if they're viable. If you fail, don't blame your mentor. Reflect on what you could have done better. If someone else succeeded with the same method, it means the method works. If it didn't work for you, maybe you didn't understand it deeply enough or didn't take the right action. That's the truth. If something survives, there's a reason. Adjust your thinking and actions based on reality. Another important lesson: don't try to learn everything. Focus only on skills related to what you really want to do. Learn what you agree with and are ready to act on. If you're not going to act, don't bother learning. It's just a waste of time. Take English, for example. Many people study it but never use it. That's a massive waste of time and energy. I've also seen people learn to drive when they don't own a car and don't even need one. It becomes a habit to learn random things, but that's not the right way to grow. Effective learning needs focus. If you can master just one skill that helps you survive in this world, that's already amazing. Don't spread yourself too thin. Time and energy are limited. Focus on one area and become an expert. That's where real value lies. But if you try to learn too many things and aren't good at any, even surviving will be hard. Apply the right mindset and actions, and you'll gain a place in this world. Simply put, you'll earn money with your skills, start your own business, and maybe even lead a passionate team toward growth. Then you'll feel joy and fulfillment, and you'll realize what you've learned through experience is real. Once you reach success, you'll feel happy. That's what learning is about, turning it into a habit and mastering skills that truly help you. If those skills let you support your family and find stability in society, isn't that a great joy? So how should we learn? What's the right method? Schools often say learning just means working harder. Stay up late, study more, memorize better, and you'll get good grades. It's basically about memorizing and repeating. I used to do that in essay writing. I memorized countless historical examples to use in exams. That might get you good scores. But is it real learning? Have you ever heard a successful entrepreneur say, "I succeeded because I studied really hard"? Probably not. Even someone like Li Ka-shing once said he picked up knowledge here and there. Our parents and teachers told us to study hard, but many of them didn't succeed themselves. They misunderstood the idea that knowledge changes destiny. It's not that knowledge isn't important. It's just that many people don't know how to learn properly. Look around. Are the richest people today the ones with the highest degrees? No. Many billionaires never went to college or didn't even finish high school. Why? Because they entered the real world early. Without a diploma, they couldn't get hired, so they had to start their own businesses. So why did they succeed while highly educated people often don't? Because they weren't trapped by the traditional school system. Some people say, if making money were that easy, there'd be no poor people. That's a narrow-minded view. These people think learning just means being told what to do. Take learning to ride a bike. A teacher tells you, hold the handles and pedal. Some get it right away. Others fail and blame the teacher. But real learning isn't just listening and copying. It's about staying focused, practicing seriously, and constantly improving. If you refuse to change your mindset, blaming others will never bring you success. You can't learn without understanding the core. But too often, people just want to prove they're right. Ask yourself, why can some people learn while others can't? Some say it's talent. But what is talent, really? Talent means knowing how to find patterns. And those who can find patterns are the ones who study how their teachers think. The ultimate goal of learning is to build your own way of thinking. Once you have that, you can create your own path to success and chase every dream. Only then can you become a leader, someone in control of their life. Everything you see, hear, and read is just information. But knowledge borrowed from others, even if it's great, is not truly yours. Only the things you personally experience, understand, and develop become real wisdom. And wisdom is what truly belongs to you. I'm not here to give you empty ideas. I want you to finish reading this and feel a deep shift in your thinking, your own realization. While most teachers try to fill your head with facts, a true master helps you discover what's already inside you. The true purpose of learning isn't just to pick up techniques or skills. No matter how great they are, those methods still belong to someone else. Real learning is about developing your own way of thinking, so you can create ideas and methods that truly fit you. The world keeps moving forward. New tools, trends, and technologies keep appearing. If you ignore Amazon when it first launched, skip YouTube when it took off, or dismiss AI while it's rising, the world will leave you behind. To stay relevant, you need to follow the direction the world is heading. That's why I always encourage people to start a business on YouTube. I've tested it myself, and I believe it's one of the best ways to build something from scratch. Compared to opening a restaurant, starting on YouTube is easier, costs almost nothing, and often brings better results. I say this from personal experience, so I feel confident giving this advice. If you ask me whether to invest $50,000 in a restaurant or in a YouTube-based business, I'd choose YouTube every time. It's one of the greatest gifts that modern technology has given to new entrepreneurs. In the beginning, you might be doing everything on your own. But once your content attracts enough views, ad revenue can start bringing you passive income. Later, you can get sponsorships or sell affiliate products. As your channel grows, your work becomes lighter. Eventually, you can build a team to make the whole process smoother. Now let's talk more about what learning really means. Many people think it's just about practicing what they've learned. And yes, that's part of it. You take knowledge from a teacher, explore it yourself, and make it your own. But there's another layer. Learning is also about building a habit. You must turn learning and skill building into something you do every day. When you do that, you'll actually feel happy doing it. That's what it means to enjoy the struggle. As the old saying goes, if you don't enjoy learning, it's not true learning. So what does it mean to truly learn? Is it copying someone else's thinking? Not really. People often say we should learn the mindset of the rich, but that doesn't mean copying their thoughts. It means understanding the principles behind those thoughts. You need to study the why behind what successful people say and do, not just copy the what. You shouldn't just take in their ideas as your own. No matter how brilliant those ideas are, they still belong to them. What you should aim for is to uncover the core principles behind those ideas, the ones that allowed them to think creatively in the first place. Learning a method means learning how someone else does something. But learning to think means building your own system of thought. And that's how you unlock your own wisdom. So what is wisdom? Wisdom is your thinking and your principles. Knowledge alone doesn't create results. Knowledge helps you know, but wisdom helps you do. Knowledge comes from others. Wisdom belongs to you. What's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Many college graduates leave school with a head full of facts, but can't do much with them in real life. Meanwhile, some high school dropouts build entire business empires. They may not have much formal education, but they have wisdom. After watching this video, what I've shared is just my wisdom. But for you, it should be a tool, something to help you find your own wisdom. Only when you build something that truly belongs to you can you say you've really learned. That's why I often say, when you understand the way, everything else becomes clear. People who focus only on skills without understanding the deeper principles often seem short-sighted. I don't say that to offend anyone. It's just a sign that our education system teaches skills, but not how to think for ourselves. We need to learn how to think. We need to understand the principles, because principles are the root of everything. High-level learning means going beyond surface appearances to discover what lies beneath. Once you grasp the principle behind something, that's when your own wisdom begins to grow. To me, the right way to learn is this. Start with what you see on the surface, dig deeper to find the true essence, then uncover the rule behind it, and build your own thinking from there. That's all for now. On this channel, we share free content about becoming wealthy, starting a business, investing, and gaining financial freedom. If you don't want to miss out, make sure to follow, turn on notifications, and share this video. I sincerely hope that everyone who supports this video reaches financial freedom soon. If even 1 or 2 lines here can help improve your life, I'll feel deeply fulfilled.